All right, hello history class. So, as you know, we've been learning about World War One, and we're getting ready to go on to World War Two. And so, I figure I'll familiarize you with some of the firearms that were used at the time period. Some of them you may not recognize, and some of them are pretty recognizable. This is a Mosin Nakan. Just a standard Russian battle rifle. Almost 9 million of these were produced from World War I to World War II. These were used during both World Wars. Standard 7.62 by 54R cartridge, 30 caliber. So, yeah, just your typical Mauser action. Remember what I said about the Mauser action. But that's pretty standard bolt action rifle of the time. I mean, there's not much else to say. It's a Mosin Nakan. It's a pretty epic firearm, so I figure I'll just do a few rounds with it. So I'm just gonna use my cold hands right now. Just shove a few rounds in there. Oops. Holds about 5 rounds. It's pretty typical of the time, 5 rounds. Yeah, pretty powerful round. Standard iron sights. These are volley sights, actually. Yeah, it's pretty difficult, pretty hard. That's our last round, so that was the Mosin. So we're gonna go ahead and go on to Springfield. All right, so this is a Springfield. Much like the Mosin, this one is a Mauser action, bolt action rifle used by the United States. The other one was used by the Russians. This was used by the United States during World War I. Now, these were fairly expensive to make, and we were paying the Germans royalties while killing them with this rifle. So, as you know, after World War I, we let go of this gun. So this only saw one World War, as far as I know. I could be completely wrong, but this is just a typical Mauser action. Fires 30-06, so this is what the United States used, 30-06. It's still used to this day for hunting, but not in the military anymore. It got phased out in the 50s, but this is a pretty strong round. Kicks like a mule, as a lot of people would like to say. That's 7.62. I think I got about 4 rounds in there, so just a standard bolt action rifle of the time. For the sign over there. Hit something. Oh. Not the world. Huh. Strange. Technical difficulties with the round. Springfield likes to be weird like that. But we're just gonna fire one more shot. There we go. Now that's the Springfield. So this is not an actual Luger, but like not an actual one, which would have been used during World War I. These were both used during World War I and World War II. A common misconception about this gun is that it is a war crime gun. Like it was used to commit a lot of war crimes. When in reality, this gun right here probably committed a lot more war crimes. We're just gonna be honest about that. But anyways, this gun was used extensively during World War I, along with the broom handle Mauser, and it was also used extensively during World War II. And before Browning came out with the 1911, this was set to be the United States. It was just that good, and this is a really good firearm. This one's chambered in 7mm bottlenecked cartridge. So they were originally chambered in 9mm, but this one was like made in the 60s. So you can see the cartridge right there, little bottlenecked cartridge. So we're just gonna go ahead and let him fire some shots out of it. You want to move a little closer, or you want to fire from like 70 yards? Jam. Another jam.
That's all of it.
So we had some technical difficulties. This gun needs to be cleaned out a bit. We probably should have done that before bringing out shooting, but so this one is probably, I think it was used by German police during the 60s. The date is 62, so like this isn't an original OG Luger, but it's still like up to spec. This is a good gun. Often ridiculed for being a war crime gun, even though it was not responsible, though it was responsible for some war crimes, like most firearms. This wasn't responsible for nearly as many as like I said, the Germans during World War II weren't using this that much. They were using a Walther PPK, I think.
P38.
P38. Oh yeah, Walther P38. The PPK, I think, is the newer version. But yeah, that's the Luger. So we're gonna move on to World War II. We got a classic here. Probably one of the most recognizable during World War II is the M1 Garand. The first semi-automatic battle rifle. Now, not first semi-automatic battle rifle, but first one to be put into extensive use, to be issued to the common infantrymen. This is what the United States was carrying during World War II. Chambered in 30-06, just like the Springfield. We have end clips like this, so 8 rounds of hell going the way of your enemy. And really good firearm. Stood the test of time. People love this gun. This gun is revered. It is revered as often the gun that won the war. Mm-hmm. That is debatable though, but we know it did. It was on the side of the Allies that won the war. So now I will have Noah fire the gun for you. And yes, you will get to hear the classic ping that everyone
Rule
loves.
number 1, do not fear this gun. It feeds off your fear. Beautiful sound.
Indeed. This is John Moses Browning, I think. A gift to the world before he left us. The 1911. Beautiful firearm. It's been in use in the military for such a long time. Getting allergies out here, but anyways, it's been in use in the military for such a long time. Such a revered firearm. People still carry this to this day. It's been around over 100 years. And I mean, it was a sidearm used by the United States and Britain and many other countries during World War II. And some countries still use this to this day. And the United States used this up to the 80s. Which is pretty insane to think about. So now I'm going to fire off a few shots. We're going to get a bit closer. Just going to get a bit closer because, you know, the pistol, it's got a short barrel. So here we go. Beautiful. Well, that's the 1911. So this is the SVT-40. This was meant to actually replace the Mosin Nakan in World War II. It's a semi-automatic, somewhat like the Garand. It's kind of Russia's version of the Garand. A lot of people like to compare it to the M14, but this came before the M14. Chambered in 7.62 by 54R, so it's got a little punch behind it. So, but this one has a little story behind it. It was allegedly used by a commander, and it was a bring back during World War II. This one's dated 1941, so this has got a pretty unique story behind it. So I'm gonna go ahead and shoot it. Oh, I need a. There we go. That's it. So, well, that's the SVT-40. So, that's it.